the discussion about the vision. We're a connected community of global citizens, and I put that in a different color because I think there's still discussion around that. A connected community of global citizens taking ownership of our success as compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, and adventurous thinkers.
The only other thought I had, I know it seems in our mission, we say we celebrate. I know, but we say we celebrate diversity. And after the conversation we had earlier, I wonder if that should live in the vision. Because I don't feel like we're celebrating diversity.
A vision is 20 years from now. 20 years from now, hopefully it is not something that is odd or is talked about. It's just accepted. It's the norm.
And I think it's the celebration is the how you get there, which maybe fits in the mission.
Yeah. Because a mission doesn't have to just describe where you are at this moment. You know, it can describe what your intent is to get to this vision. And then you'll have strategies to achieve that equity that you don't yet have and that diversity you don't yet have.
And second thought, taking ownership is bugging me a little bit, and I don't know why.
You know what? I actually said I said we are a connected community of global citizens who take ownership, and I don't know why. I don't know if that's the correct thing that is needed, but taking also. I'm not sure what it is, but so I said who take.
I mean, if you're trying to wordsmith it down, and I know citizens was a weird, like a trigger. What about this? Like, we are a globally connected community, owning our success as compassionate, collaborative, adventurous thinkers.
Wow.
Better.
Better.
Yeah.
I like that. It was your words. Well, connected.
Oh, sorry. Globally connected community.
Cross that out. Owning. Is that better?
Yeah, it is.
We are a globally connected community, owning our success as compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, and adventurous thinkers.
So, I mean, I had taken out some of those because it just gets wordy, but whatever you want, but I just put compassionate, collaborative, adventurous thinkers. I took out innovators and leaders. It could be thinkers and leaders.
Yeah. So in the discussion we had previously in the steering committee, I think one of the things we got to was we wanted to highlight leaders, innovators, and thinkers as three separate things. Not sure.
Yeah. What if you just drop the adjectives then, right? As leaders.
I kind of like where you're going. You're condensing. I think there's something there. We are a globally connected community.
Success. Yeah, we're not victims here.
So we are a globally connected community, owning our success as leaders, innovators, and thinkers.
The adventurous still lives in the values, the collaborative and compassionate lives in values, and so I don't know if it needs to be restated.
Is there one adjective that we can?
I like adventurous.
I like adventurous.
Adventurous.
So funny that we keep going to that.
As adventurous.
So then
leaders,
here's the new
innovators,
noun
and
in my
thinkers.
mind, and I don't know if we'll like this one or not, but what if, I'm playing. We are a globally connected community of adventurous learners.
Owning our success, or
I drop it. I'm just trying to get it pithy. We are a globally connected community of blank blanks, and then put an adjective and a noun in there. I like first, yeah, dropping everything, making it very simple. Cool. Of adventurous learners, adventurous thinkers, adventurous.
Well, I think learners, I mean, I guess
We could still say just adventurous leaders, innovators, and thinkers. I mean, if you wanna keep all of those, you know,
I'm just trying to go 50.
Because
I was moved by the Madison one.
So one of the things that you
But that
did
was
say
the purpose.
earlier
Yeah.
is lifelong learning. So you've got some backup there to your point of somebody saying adventurous learners. Or you could say as adventurous leaders, innovators, and thinkers.
Where adventurous describes all of those.
Yeah, I think so.
So for me, the adventurous maybe takes care of this piece. For me, I feel like what's a distinguishing characteristic of our board, not the entire organization, but our board compared to other boards, we're not victims here. We're gonna take action. Like who else is making statements to the governor on current year funding? Like I feel like the adventurous, that's just taking ownership. That's this ownership piece that I really value about us. I don't know how you cap it. Maybe it's just adventurous learners, leaders, and thinkers. I don't know.
I just like learners, because that, like she said, with the lifelong learners, even if you're part of the Creighton community and not part of Creighton schools, you know, like whether your kids are drowning out, whether you're, you know, but they're a connected community of adventurous learners.
what about
But
adventurous
leaders
life?
are learners. Why wouldn't we just replace learners with leaders?
Not all leaders are learners. Take Creighton, for example.
I actually like I like inserting lifelong learners. Maybe it's the alliteration, I'm not sure, but adventurous lifelong learners instead of, you know, all of the other different ways to describe it.
A lifelong.
I'll also just caution us on, I don't personally believe we need to make the vision statement super concise. I think there are other ways to communicate some things that we're trying to get at. So I don't know. So I like the intent that we already have. If there's a way to make it concise, great, but I don't want to lose some of the good things that
Right.
have.
Plus, yeah, we want to honor what everybody else
So
is
we
already.
could have a globally connected community of compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, and adventurous thinkers.
Yeah.
That's one direction. The more concise one is of adventurous learners, or
Well-
lifelong learners.
I like the more expansive one.
I do
And
too.
you, yeah, I think I do too.
This
So
one.
remember that in
But
my
you can take out the
opinion, at
owning
least-
piece is what I think you're.
Yeah.
in my opinion, at least, what the purpose of the vision is to give us an aspiration to work towards.
Right.
And so I think having some richness there is perhaps appropriate. I think, you know, as the terminus of this process, perhaps having, okay, in terms of how do we market this? I think having a pithy phrase, we are a globally connected community of adventurous learners, or maybe just something. At that point, it's just a globally.
Yeah, you can use Creighton, you know, the Creighton logo, or use Creighton and just say
Right.
Creighton, a
Sure,
globally
sure.
connected community of adventurous
Right.
learners. If you use
So
that
that's-
as like a tagline
Right.
or a
A mantra.
catchphrase or
Right.
something, and you don't have to have one. We could actually break out the individual pieces and have like 3 of them that are like sort of the same. So you could take, you know, we are a globally connected community of compassionate leaders for a statement on something that's a leadership piece that might go on like the position statements that the board just released. That would be an appropriate tag to put on there. Whereas if it's something related to student learning, then you'd go to the adventurous learners piece. And if it's something related to, you know, where we've done something new and exciting, like our EPTT version 2.0 that gets released or something like that, then that might carry the tagline of our collaborative.
Do you want the word thinkers or learners here?
Thinkers.
Thinkers, okay. You just said learners.
Yeah, I was reading over
Yeah,
there,
I was
but yeah,
just
it can
double
be
checking.
thinkers
Yeah.
instead of learners.
And another reason I like the more rich, longer vision is like within our organization, the Creighton District, this will be our mission. But others in our community could fall under the same vision, and this is what the foundation does. This is what business partners do. They have different missions that help us realize this vision in the future. It's the same vision statement.
So we are a globally connected community of compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, and adventurous thinkers. Yes, okay. So we'll
So-
loop that out again.
Right, loop it in, loop it
And
in.
people in.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay,
So
mission.
in terms of the mission statement, as opposed to the vision, and my view of the way things work, the mission is much more present tense. Here's what we're actively doing now to try to get there 10 or 20 years from today. So the mission, such as it was worked out with and let me just say this, when we concluded the February 4th steering committee meeting, we had a number of statements that were all like we didn't quite get it narrowed down. So I took it upon myself to say, okay, here's the way I would narrow this down. So let me be clear about that this is inspired by the steering committee, but this is actually not quite as directly the steering committee saying, yes, that's what we want to perform. So there may be a little bit more, less legitimacy maybe to it, or authority in terms of it coming from me in a certain sense, rather than the steering committee. But anyway, what it says, or you're the reader, please.
Okay, our mission. Creighton provides a personalized learning experience that celebrates diversity, nurtures creativity, promotes academic aspirations and growth, and fosters leadership in partnership with our community.
And the mission statement, this is the what. This is the what we do to get to the.
This is
What are we
what
changing right
this is
now?
what it should be.
Personalized.
What should be guiding what happens in the day-to-day operations of the classrooms and the schools and school districts.
Yeah, personalized jumped out at me too, and I see it's one of my comments on leadership.
Right.
Is a no or is a yeah? Or is
Well,
that, yeah,
In terms of the leadership council, they say personalized leadership learning experience. Are we doing this yet? Was the question.
That would be my question.
And I guess I don't want to make it to sound too present tense. Like, if we're not doing it exactly right, we're not going to put it in there. It should be the standard that we want to hold ourselves to in our current,
Right.
what we're doing now.
Okay.
So I think in that sense,
it's still a draft.
Right.
Well, no, it will become finalized by the spring. And you want this to be something that you can,
Aspire to.
well, reasonably say,
We can do this,
happening
you should be doing
That's
it.
in August.
that's what you should do.
Yes,
So you
yeah.
can tell your principals, hey, principals, you've got to design this into your program starting in August.
Right.
Right, so,
What about, I don't know, because I'm not wild about personalized. I feel like I know what we're trying to say. To me, it comes across as detached still somehow, even though it's supposed to be
yeah,
personalized.
personalized.
Caring and loving, maybe this is where we insert loving or caring.
Yeah.
You know,
But I don't think that's the in lieu of. I don't disagree with the intent. I just think that the personalized speaks to the differentiated support that each child, I think, should be getting.
Right.
As opposed to, there's like the criticism we get as school districts, not as great, right? But like our industrialized education system that makes all kids at this pace, catering to masses with some small tweaking and differentiation on the margins. Like, this is it's a different.
See, I think I'm thinking of it, like if I was a parent and I'm going around shopping for schools and trying to see which mission statement of a school would fit. I mean, I guess that I get
The
this.
schools would still have to do their own, this is still a larger district.
That would actually, I like the sound of that.
I do too, in that as much as we wanted to, each and every one of our kids is special. And they should be special to everyone else.
Yeah.
And they should have a personalized learning experience because they're not a cookie cutter kid.
And that's attractive, I think.
Yeah.
To a lot of parents, I would think.
I think we could still add the language though, like Creighton District provides a loving, personalized learning experience or something. But I actually, I circled this personalized piece, like that stood out to me.
So
And
it's similar,
Positive, right?
is there,
As a positive.
or is it positive?
It actually stood out to me as audacious.
No.
Like that's
No,
a
yeah.
huge guarantee.
I don't know why, I'm not sure exactly why, but I mean, I'm.
It's a hot phrase right now, just so you know. I've got a copy of the school administrator and the whole issue is devoted to personalized learning. And I just brought it with me ironically.
We're at the forefront again.
What can I say?
We're
Yeah.
innovative.
Nothing's jumping off of me right now, but it's basically a way to stop trying to fit all kids round pegs into square holes, you know, and to customize learning. Customize is my word, personalized is the hip word, and just, not that that should influence this group, but that's kind of what's going on in the literature.
Personalized, customized, targeted, individualized.
Yeah, of all those personal sounds.
With guns on campus, I don't want targeted.
Jeez.
Well, it makes me feel like we recognize that that's important
Mhm.
too, that we're making that statement.
So how does it sound with the loving? Creighton provides a loving, personalized learning experience.
I think that just keeping it as is, would be.
Karen?
No, I mean, I think, otherwise it makes it maybe too word.
It feels like it's that
Too wordy.
new.
It's like you were trying too hard.
It does sound like that, yeah.
So just personalized learning experience. Okay.
I mean, on the flip, right? I don't know what the language is that like a basis uses, but they're not trying to be a loving environment. Parents that I know that choose that school for their kids, they're like, it's not about the love. It's about the, like, we're gonna drop our kids off. Like, the parents, like, their role is 0, stay away. You drop your kids off, we got this. It's very rigorous, and they're fine with that. They're very fine with this clinical approach.
It's not personalized.
It's not. I mean, it's all kids will have this curriculum, like these APs.
Right.
And they don't celebrate the love and the caring, and that appeals to a certain parent.
Or the diversity.
What's that?
Or the diversity.
Yeah. I feel like the word, whatever adjective it might be, the loving, the caring.
The belongs and values, maybe.
Well, even if it's in values, I think it would be well suited in the mission. If that, I don't know. I was like, I hear you, but I think it fits well here, personally, as we're brand, like this is, I don't know. I think it would fit there.
So I'm trying to crosswalk mission into vision, and maybe that's not an exercise I should be doing in my head. But when I hear personalized learning, it matches compassionate leaders.
Yeah.
Um,
And you should be doing that. I mean, not necessarily,
I know,
rigid
yeah,
crosswalk, crosswalk, but the mission you should be able to see how the mission is going to get you there.
I will just say this though about this. There are 4 things that we're saying we do: celebrate diversity, nurture creativity, promote academics, foster leadership. I think 4 is big. Like 3 is easier. Like 3 is Aristotle's perfect number. So I just want to throw that out
I never
there.
argue with that.
Like nurtures creativity. I mean,
I
it
personally.
seems like we could lose that one.
Unless you take out the nurtures creativity, but put fosters creative leadership. I don't know.
Because you have the creativity in your vision, innovators, creative. thinkers, so
Yeah,
an innovator is one who thinks outside the box.
so I'm gonna circle, and I think the things that you need to make sure you're moving towards in some way is that global connection with community. Compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, adventurous thinkers. There doesn't need to be a one-to-one correspondence, but those are the big things that you're moving
Towards
towards.
there too.
This may be counterintuitive, but if I was gonna jettison one, I jettison promotes academic aspirations and growth,
Me too.
because that's just kind of cookie cutter.
Embedded,
Yeah, I mean, it's,
and your school.
we're school, so chances are we're gonna need to do those things, but that's, that's not the, if you're trying to get beyond where we are, you can't focus on.
Just
What
it's
about,
interesting that
what about the possibility of maybe combining those two promotes academic creativity? Because then we're talking about academics, which was important over here,
Right.
but we're going back to that joyful creativity over growth, because I hear growth and
or
aspirations, and I think testing,
Right.
and assessments.
So part of that was deliberate to not call it academic achievement, which was really hard linked to testing, but the academic aspirations and growth were part of that personalized, where it was, okay, for this student, if they can reach, third grade reading level by the time they're in sixth grade, it might be a real victory. So it's not the rigid academic standard. So that was what was in the discussion that led to it being called academic aspirations and growth.
So let me read what I think has been proposed. Creighton provides a personalized learning experience that celebrates diversity, promotes academic creativity, and fosters leadership.
Very good.
I like that.
And then there's the
Oh,
in
in partnership.
partnership with our community, which a leadership council said that seems to not fit, maybe put it at the beginning.
Right.
It doesn't fit there, but it's an important part.
Right. So that was part of my struggle, let me confess, of like, where do I put that? And I thought, well,
I
I'll
think it
just
sounds
stick it
okay
together.
there.
Well, there's one of the proposals from the leadership council comments was put it at the front.
Right, so you could say Creighton partners with our community to provide.
What if does the Creighton community provides?
Well,
This is the district.
Yeah.
Michigan State, so.
And we know,
The word partner may be important.
Right.
I think it's important.
I think it sounds okay where it is.
Front sounds good too.
I mean, I can go either way. I think it sounds fine at the end. Creighton.
Or
partners with our
you could say, as
community.
Peter suggested, Creighton partners with our community to provide.
Yeah.
I kind of like that because it puts more emphasis rather than an afterthought.
Right.
Like, we need our community to be successful, and it's so important that we
Right.
have to say that up front, that we need you.
We want to say Creighton district. Because we're trying to build this Creighton brand, the Creighton community. Are we in the mission statement saying the Creighton district partners with our community too?
I mean, it wouldn't be bad just because, one of our schools is called Creighton, and
I
then
know.
we have like the Creighton community, and so I get where you're coming from. I think that might be good too. Creighton district partners with our community to provide a personalized learning experience that celebrates diversity, promotes academic creativity, and fosters leadership.
My handwriting gets
Like,
worse
well, I was
as I
just
go
saying, you can
faster.
see
I
what
still
Karen
like it.
speeds up.
I personally still like it better at the end. After seeing it written down, I don't know. I just like it in partnership with.
It sounds like it's a very more formal in the beginning, like when sitting in the beginning, it sounds like we do it more formally than we do.
Well, that's
Yeah,
what
well-
we're moving to do that.
I think it belongs in the mission statement. I don't know whether it belongs in the beginning or the end. For me, I'm a shopping parent. I want to be attracted to what's my kid gonna get.
Right, yeah.
First and foremost.
So,
Yeah.
with all due respect, I really don't care as a mommy.
Right.
I'm in my mommy head right now.
The
With
personalized learning
With
experience.
that
does
one,
pop out,
that
yeah.
matters to me as a
Yeah.
mommy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, who's this for? It's for all of us.
For all of us.
Right. I think the downside of putting it in the front, it emphasizes what's going on.
That's the
It's a
action.
hierarchy.
Yeah.
It's too much emphasis on
The
that, yeah.
Creighton district and the community partnering and, oh, yeah, there's some kids running around here somewhere.
So one rule of thumb is to try to keep it to 70 words. Most organizations go over that a little bit, but
Excuse me, the mission statement.
The mission statement.
7 words.
yeah,
Oh, we already,
Oh, I
Creighton district, we
much
only have 5 words.
I know. So what I'm saying,
We,
most go over that.
3 times.
Most go over that, but a question would be whether the partnership is something that is one of your strategies. Yes. Rather than having to be in the mission statement.
It's a strategy, it's just so important. But I'm fine losing it here because I actually think like at the end of the day, the most important thing we're doing is providing this academic experience. It's just
and I would
personalized
drop it from Creighton district, because I think the word district is fraught with issues.
Could we create neighborhood schools? We say create neighborhood.
Well, this is gonna be the Creighton district mission statement. Our mission
Right.
is to.
It
So you
could be
could
to
just say,
provide.
we provide.
We, and I'd be more comfortable with we right now. The word district sometimes gets, used as a bureaucracy or city hall, it just doesn't,
We provide
Some
a
people
personalized learning experience.
use the
that celebrates
intention.
diversity, promotes academic.
Yeah,
they're reading all our
stuff and they don't know
People didn't know.
not sure we.
From a recruitment standpoint, I was down at U of A, people didn't know Creighton was a district, they're like, oh, are you a charter school? And, oh no, we're in the heart of Phoenix, we're just north of the airport, school district, 9 schools, so I think keeping that, because people are looking for public schools to work in, rather than charter, so that might be a different.
Well, again, that could come in your package, when you get to that point of always having this, we are, we include X number of schools with blah, blah, blah. It does, using the we is parallel to your vision. So, and we can even, as we're doing values, so we value, X
We
for the purpose of,
Yeah, the Creighton
I mean,
district.
the way they're written now, they just said we value.
we value, yeah.
And the word fosters isn't rocking it for me anymore. I think it's a really weak verb and so
Cultivate, develop.
develop, cultivate, grow, whatever. But develop for me feels stronger than fosters, but there might be a better one.
Well, and again, I come back to how are we actually doing that right now?
That would be the strategic part of the conversation.
Okay.
So you're saying cultivates academic creativity instead?
Right.
Is that what you're
I
saying?
like
Yeah.
promotes,
Well, how about promotes academic
academic creativity.
creativity and leadership?
And cultivates, oh, okay. So
No,
you're
I think
saying
just
it
drop promote for
academic
foster.
creativity.
Even promote is a weak word. You can promote anything, you can guarantee.
Cultivate.
Provide.
So that means that we're talking about academic leadership and not just leadership in general.
That's right.
And I'm not sure that's what
Can I read you guys
the intent.
the one from my kid's school? Sure. It's a little long, but I think purposeful. ASA inspires creative thinkers and leaders through providing an innovative concentration in college preparation informed by the performing arts. So they're like how they're going to do it in there too, which I'm not suggesting we do, but it's really simple in the first sentence. Inspires creative thinkers and leaders.
So you provide a personalized learning experience. It sounds like there's consensus on that. If I'm hearing anything.
Advances. As a verb.
Promote, advances,
Instead of
academic.
Elevate. I'm just looking for a stronger word.
Could we just drop promotes and lift it celebrates? I know it's kind of putting the cart
Oh,
There's-
where are
there's
you're saying
something-
like that celebrates diversity, comma, academic creativity, comma, and leadership?
Yeah. It's kind of a
So
weird,
it
different
breaks
way
off
to go at it, but
Creative leadership is its own.
Well, it sounds like we want to keep,
Diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
Personalized learning experience, the question is what happens with that?
I like that. Or we can say, we can flip it, right? Like we provide, we celebrate,
we provide a personalized learning experience that celebrates diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
the flip would be, we celebrate diversity, academic creativity, and leadership by
Wow.
providing a
Through
personalized learning
personalized,
experience. I heard you say flip, and I
Or
was
just
Yeah,
through a
yeah. Say that
personalized
again.
Through a personalized learning. Read it again,
yeah, I
Jay.
didn't know how to put it on.
So it's, we celebrate diversity, academic creativity, and leadership, either through a personalized learning experience or by providing a personalized learning
Yeah.
experience.
But here's to the Donna Mommy comment,
Yeah,
right? Like what do I get?
I like the first, the
So that's
personalized
the-
learning thing.
Yeah, the personalized learning experience, I think you said like thinkers, Renee saying,
Mhm.
like, what's the end product? And then how do we get there? The end product might be something about, I don't know, academic, creatively academic leaders,
Creative thinkers.
critical and creative thinkers. We do that through the personalized learning experience that celebrates diversity.
So I heard you provide personalized learning experience that is celebrate really the
Yeah,
outcome.
I'm looking at synonyms for celebrate: honors, memorializes, observes, commemorates, praise,
Those are the
glorifies,
right ones.
eulogizes.
Celebrates the right one. I think it's,
So you're celebrating diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
I actually think, yeah, we provide a personalized learning experience that celebrates diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
Fortifies,
I'm thinking great.
that's a little too off.
That embraces.
I like embrace also.
Academic
Embraces.
It goes to that caring.
I would say that my Creighton family is like a warm hug, you know?
That embraces diversity, comma, academic
My-
creativity, comma, and
family
leadership.
family was better than anything.
Yeah, so just, can I just can I pause on that one for a minute? Because that's come up for me ever since I've walked in the door, is the word family. And we haven't used it anywhere. And it hasn't come up yet, so I don't know if it's something we take for granted, that I don't want to lose because we forget. And I don't want to just take us off the rail either, but I have heard the word family, Creighton family, since I walked in the door. And that's one of the major selling points of this community is you feel this hug.
It's tangible.
We have a sixth value that
That
we're
might
going to
capture
write
that.
about caring and nurturing and love. And so family could be
Could live there.
included somewhere
That's good.
there.
That's good. Okay, that works.
So for the mission, we provide a personalized learning experience that embraces diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
I liked it the first time I heard it. I'm like, embraces almost sounds like you just have to put up with it. Like, it's here, okay, we got it. I really like the celebration. I really like the celebration.
Celebrate better.
So
but
I'm trying to figure out
because-
structures of support. So what do we do that structures that? You know, that the action is, we do stuff to make that happen. We
Right.
structure, we organize for it, we act upon
Well, I
making
think
that
it's-
happen.
I think it's easy to imagine acting on developing a personalized learning experience.
So
Each
provide
child
the
who comes
action.
in the door gets treated differently than any other, and no other child gets treated the same way as this one. I think the celebrating diversity is potentially the hardest of those to really make real. I mean, you can sort of feel it, but I think the question is how do you programmatically actualize that?
Mhm. I mean, but there are things we can do in curriculum, like what are we exposing our children too. I think that there are other like, they're just like, I don't know what you call them, like programs or events that help pull this together. I also think like if we're purposeful and diversify schools by design, those are 3 ways to celebrate the diversity. So I think that isn't a challenge necessarily. I don't actually have to do the doing, you all do. But I think there are ways
Well,
to do
it's
it.
something that I think it's mandatory that we do as a district, you know, it's not really a choice.
Right.
I would just say, and Donna Young brought up at the beginning, but I do think there probably is space for caring here or loving, like we would provide a caring, personalized learning experience, a loving, personalized. I think that helps really cement that. I don't know. I wasn't
It
so
makes it
compelled
sound-
earlier.
It makes it sound less buzzword.
Yeah.
If we could shift
I
from
agree.
personalized to personal, then I think putting that caring adjective or that loving adjective in front of it might make it a little smoother. So you have caring
Yeah.
and personalized, it's like,
Yeah, it's just that additional adjective.
yeah.
Caring
Provides-
personal.
So we provide a caring, personal learning experience.
Yeah.
So it makes it sound like we're, personal learning experience, it doesn't sound as buzzwordy, but it's also going to the root of the child. It's a
Right.
personal
Right.
experience for each child.
As opposed to, and I guess personalized could be, well, we give everybody a Myers-Briggs, and by type they come out as we plug them into this program, so it's personalized.
Yeah.
That's not-
Tailored
that's-
is the other word that's used, just so you know, I'm not trying, I don't want to mess this up, but
No.
Yeah.
tailored is also out there.
They're wrong, we're right.
Okay. Throwing it out there.
So it now reads, we provide a caring, personal learning experience that celebrates diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
Sounds good to me.
Just, and then, just because I'm vision and mission, we say compassionate leaders and then vision.
Yeah.
I
So
think
we'll
they-
explain a little bit more about that here.
And I think they become compassionate because our leaders are so caring.
It's been long.
Passionate leaders, okay. Interesting.
And I think you become an adventurous thinker through academic
Creativity.
through celebrating academic creativity. And if you're celebrating diversity and in a caring and personal environment, then you're going to develop leaders who are compassionate.
And globally connected.
And globally connected.
We only doubled the 7 words, we did really well. We started triple and we're down to double.
That's okay.
I'm not sure any of them. So,
There are a few. The mission or the vision rather of UMOM U Day Centers is ending homelessness.
Right.
That's just it.
that's the vision.
That's their vision, yeah.
Great.
And their mission is no
Ending.
longer.
An education.
Slaying the dragon of ignorance.
Yes.
That's
Except we have a school that's got the dragon, with the dragon, I can't use it, how do you use another metaphor?
Ending dumbness.
Yeah. Dragon of ignorance.
Ending
Ending
justice.
ignorance. Ending dumbness. No.
Don't be
Now we know we're tired.
Okay, good work.
Ending ignorance. That would be hysterical.
So I'm gonna take this as a draft 2.0, the values that we have. I'm going to simplify value number 1, which we are.
It is.
I didn't hear anything, I think we're good with the word spiritual, leaving it in there,
I still
What
think
do you
there
mean?
needs to be more feedback for that
okay.
personally, yeah.
But what about the body, mind, and spirit thing that you brought up?
Oh, yeah. But do we-
I'm not saying I disagree with it, I'm just saying it may, I just,
Actually, right now,
This is-
I could, but you
So-
supposed to be doing
Look,
Don't want to interrupt that.
Spirit.
Before your tea tired and the carbs from lunch kicked in, for those of you, us who had dessert. One of the other things that you had talked about was, as an alternative, we value safe environments that nurture each individual's body, mind, and spirit. And so where is your thinking on that versus the way it's currently written?
I like that when you.
The second,
The
okay.
second one?
I'm just making sure
That's
we're
on the values.
together.
And the values.
It's just more,
There's
it's
some-
simple and
It's simple and it
Yeah.
takes out the need to do
Yeah.
the research on
Yeah.
spiritual.
People can repeat that one.
yeah, comfortably.
Okay.
Safe environment.
Okay, and the third one, value high expectations that promote growth and celebrate discovery. The fourth one, the developmental and innovative, came up in the feedback from the leadership council. There's not flowing smoothly.
We just truncated to adventurous learning.
Developmental.
Value adventurous learning. Period.
Everyone good with that?
We're back on.
Well, we're back in, I'm trying to recap.
This-
and
We've
make
got
sure
6
that-
instead of 5 now,
Okay.
and we're trying to make them a little more tight. A little more pithy.
And this, by the way, this is very common, and since the discussion we had
Go
here
Mhm.
informs this, it's hard to know which one of these should go first. So I just wanted to review and make sure that we come back to a real consensus. So we value high expectations that promote growth and celebrate discovery. That uses some of the same words as in the vision of the mission statement, but I think that's okay. We value adventurous learning, period. That really makes the point of that it's adventurous learning. We value the strength that comes from the richness of our diversity. People said they liked that one.
I like them all, but do other school districts always have like our values and then have everything we value, next one we value, or do they come out with we value semicolon,
Yes,
Bullet.
Yeah.
strength that comes from
yeah,
instead of,
that's where it's gonna end up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's what-
oh,
So,
okay.
We're
We're
not
not going to have the we value for each one.
No.
It will be we value and then bullets.
Right, right.
Okay.
This came out this way because Paris had done them individually, but it would be a we value, colon, and then if there's a need to say how this shows up,
right.
in terms
So-
of an explanation, that's a
In terms of
packaging step you could do.
the use of these might be, and we want to explain these to you, and so we might go back to the we value high expectations that promote growth and celebrate discovery, and then talk about here's this program in this school and here's how it does that.
Right.
So you might put the we value back on that because you're sort of highlighting one of the
But we've taken out the last part.
but no, it's not this one, it's this one.
Okay, all right,
I think we're good.
okay. All right, so,
The vision statement, as we've got it up here, we are a globally connected community of compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, and adventurous thinkers. And the mission is we provide a caring, personal learning experience that celebrates diversity, academic creativity, and leadership.
okay,
So that's draft 2.0 with the addition of a value to be added, to be named later about caring and nurturing and love. And maybe we can come up with that.
potentially lifelong learning. Right, we'll come up with that. Okay, good. We're down to the last bullet, I believe.
So,
on
well-
our agenda.
I'm,
Adjournment? No.
but now,
One more.
So-
Not working.
one thing that occurred to me as we've been having this discussion, thinking about what came up later and the charge to the steering committee, which is to start to come up with goals. I guess I'd appreciate hearing from the governing board members. Are there any areas of goal development that you think we should not miss? So make sure you've got something in the goals about this. So for instance, the goal about sort of, I guess, tracking our kids after they leave eighth grade. Where do they go? They just sort of disappear. Those are the kinds of things that it would be helpful, I think, for the steering committee to have your input on that sort of stuff. What should be, as we go from these values, vision, and mission into, okay, now we're going to write down some goals. Are there any areas you really want to put as priorities?
I know that was brought up, for example, but years ago, I guess Dr. Spiller mentioned we couldn't because of the computer program with us and Phoenix Union was different. We couldn't, and kids moving out of district. But somewhere along the line, the board was promised we could do that in the future when the state got a more centralized, and they were
Superintendents ago.
superintendents.
Tom Horn.
Oh,
Hoopenthal came in. State.
oh, okay, I'm going.
Because Hoopenthal came in with that idea, and I don't know what Diane Douglas is doing.
Right.
Well, you know what, I know
But
that
it's also with the,
McKee's
when you have,
Exit systems.
yeah,
So I think we don't want to get too much into the tactical details.
I know that,
About this
but
one.
it was promised, so it's
Okay.
basically out of our control.
But to know that it's something that you want,
We would like to know that information.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think,
Just so at this point, I think we just want just big areas, like you were talking about, more needs to be done around diversity. That's not, you don't want to, you're not where you want to be. So I'll write that down as just an area not to be.
So you can
Other-
think about those key words that you had in some of these in terms of real priorities.
So I'm not sure we have anything on life skills. I don't know if that's the right word, but whatever the
social emotional learning.
social emotional learning has not been,
And we've got,
time to revisit those attributes of the things we do for some kids, but not all.
and so all those things on in the blue marker over there that you talked about this morning as well. So,
And Sharon, with diversity, if you could also include the word integration, discussions.
okay.
yeah, I would just say like, there's a lot of, like, public district school, a lot of pressure, and we clearly welcome and accept every child. I also think it's probably, we're not gonna get here by every school will be everything to everyone. So I just wanna, I know this goes into the strategies maybe, but I think like a goal is that there is a high quality like option for every child in the district, right? And it might not be the one that you're in your neighborhood, and I wanna make sure we can meet all of those needs. That's one. And I think part of this is, and I don't know where it lives, but like, what does it look like at eighth grade promotion? Like, how do we know if we've been successful? How will a parent know if, what they're getting? What does that really look like? College, like if you're a high school, it's different. It's like, my kid got into college, right?
You're talking about the success indicators.
Success
eighth grade.
indicators, yeah.
And eighth grade promotion.
I just have a feeling we can try harder on that, and we haven't been asking that question. I mean, Dr. Geston shared with me his opinion on things. He knew, what Creighton kids were capable of when they came to Camelback. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think that we're not asking that, and we can find out.
And I'll just say on the diversity thing, like I think we could be more diverse by design. That's the language I use. I'd probably say the same thing as Amy is, but
Okay, so we've got those.
Equity piece was
that's
also
more of a strategy than a goal, but we don't
just
want
sort of brainstorming for what we think
Well, I might remind us to look at page 5 a little bit, and I don't know if that's taking us back or inhibiting. I'm thinking we circled things we liked about the original document that are seem and sound somewhat repetitive to what we're saying again now, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
No, I think you're right, yeah.
I think, securing choice is in essence what I'm hearing be said, which is the number 4, not the rest of the statement, just the securing choice piece is in there. I'm hearing
What is,
a rewrite on number 3, but the whole of 3, everybody seemed to like. On number 2, I'm working back.
Ownership kind of thing.
Mhm. The empathetic versus compassionate global citizen is in there already, in a way, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would,
So maybe,
Okay.
maybe not, I don't know.
We've got globally connected. I'm not sure that's quite the same as compassionate citizen.
yeah, I would just, I mean, I don't know the status of this, so I'm not saying it's a problem, just be clear, but we should probably make sure that our curriculum is culturally relevant. And I would say just cultural competence for staff is something we should think about. I also think that probably means setting some metrics around trying to hire staff that looks like our community. And I know that's a challenge, but that's not an impossible thing to undertake.
Yeah.
Those things are, I could
The
see.
staff the future staff that graduate from ASU that reflect our community are at 6%,
Yeah, so we make sure to maximize that.
every bit of it.
Well, I'm sure there's no money for it, but and this might be too off topic, but do we ever have pathways for our paraprofessionals to pursue?
Yes.
We used to,
Yeah.
and, I've been in a conversation with University of Phoenix, and they're interested, as we talk about it, it's not for
Yeah.
because I see former Loma Linda students, and I don't want to say Loma Linda because I know the faces when they come through, who are working at McDonald's, and they're like, oh, come work for us, to come be a teacher, and I'd love to.
And through the preschool development grant, there's an opportunity for educational assistance.
Again, I think that's like a strategy, but I just was curious, so I'll go.
Grow your own company.
Yeah, I think in strategies, rather than have somebody mirror the look of our community, like Eric is bilingual, Rosemary was bilingual. They had the community in their hands, and they didn't look like our community. We're moving towards that way to get more principals and others to be bilingual and to understand the culture of some of the community that they're serving, but they don't have to look like them totally.
And one of the
Yeah, that's just one part of it, and cultural competence, the other
Right.
language, those things really matter.
And in the notes from the town hall that took place last fall, the fact that teachers were learning Spanish or trying to learn Spanish
Right.
was so
Yeah,
much appreciated.
it's not what you look like, it's what you try to do with the community, whether you're bilingual or you try to learn it.
Yeah, but we also know, I agree that that is absolutely critical, but I also feel like making sure our students see leaders that look like them, whether it be women or Latinos or African American, in positions of leadership, is absolutely essential for their growth and development, in addition to language and cultural competence. I think it's both.
I do too. It's a combination, but since one avenue is somewhat
Limited.
very limited,
Yeah.
that we go with the other avenue, but don't cross off first.
So the goal should just be cognizant that this is something to pay attention to.
Anything else come to mind?
Yeah, I don't want to lose, it's in here, but I don't want to lose the well-rounded curriculum,
Multiple disciplines.
multiple disciplines. That's, to me, super important.
And whole child, I mean, if we're talking about multiple disciplines, I think that includes because that was part of the concern too. is the
And we've
child.
got all of those things on this morning.
So we'll be typing those up and massaging them into colors. So,
Anything else?
Last-
call?
and then finally, the communication plan.
Before we go to communication plan, can I just pause for a second? And I want to give kudos to the team that worked before us, because in our conversation, we have elevated and deepened our purpose. And we have directly connected to the essence of what the work that was going on for 18 months in many, many ways. And I just want to say thank you for all the team members out there in the public, the 40 who have worked so hard, because while we didn't quite say it the same way, I feel like this bridge is just, we're about 2 planks away from fully connecting. And as I read page 5 and listen to the conversation today, I feel a hybrid of improvement as well as honoring of what's been done. I'm just wanted to pause on that and say I'm really moved by.
And because of that work, we were able to move forward as quickly as we were. Because we shot into that
Right.
and then infuse. And so to be able to get this done in this amount of time is not very possible without all of that. So
Oh, yeah.
it's awesome.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to, we were at a really critical stage of turning now to talk about communication, but I just thought this is powerful what just happened.
Yeah.
Not only, the inventive work we've done, but the alignment of the original intention of the original work. I'm really tickled about that. And I think it's better, and I think it's honoring folks.
And I feel like it takes all of these things that have been like swimming around in my head and really, putting them in an order that makes sense, and that I feel like now I could take this information and communicate it more effectively to people in the community.
I think also, they were on the committee, and just like us, you overlook certain things because you're so used to a word. And us coming in, not as, uninterested observers or anything, but into it, but we're more neutral coming into it and looking at it like a community member might look at it and giving critique. But they did the basics. They did like you said, the groundwork and everything else. They built the castle and we're just polishing it.
It's really good. So as we get ready to communicate, that's important because, we want to remember that huge strand of development and all the things that we get ready to say to the relative constituents we all work with. So I just thought that was important, so it didn't feel like, well, we started this on Saturday. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I just say,
Yes, please.
piggybacking on that, just to connect some of the dots again, when the big team left off conversations around these goals, some of those same questions around, well, competence, compassion, empowerment. To me, one of the strengths of this process is that they help us develop a shared language of leadership and action. And so that's exactly the conversation with that group. So it's carried over here, and I think now we are moving, that bridge is leading to this shared language of action, shared language of leadership. So it's just lines up really, really beautifully. I'm lucky because I've been able to sit in those rooms along with many other people. So I just wanted to share that, my perspective.
And I just grab a minute too, and James, and put you on the spot relative to the various seats you've sat in on, including this conversation and its development and the steering,
That was Rusty Jergens.
whatever Rusty talked about as he contributed as an executive team member. What are you seeing as it integrates? Maybe that's not the right word, but as it comes together, are you sensing an alignment?
With the process as it goes along.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that you can see, especially when all the pieces kind of fit in together, that there's a path. But which is not to say there wasn't a path before there in the past. It's just you can see that it's aligned. I guess that's the best word to use too. So,
And Pam, when you think about all the roles you've had with continuous improvement planning for the federal direction, not only that we've been mandated to provide, but the authenticity that we've tried to make in those plans, not just bureaucratically, what would you say?
Yeah, I think that this is going to give us, when we're completed with it, a very good platform for going into the development of what are really continuous improvement plans that are more action-oriented. These are visionary and goal-oriented, and what we have to do is put some things into action, and I think it's magnificent. I really do.
Thank you. Just wanted to pause there for a minute.
Going back to the beginning, by the way, I think James's word of aligned, for me, fits instead of the united. Anyway, I don't know.
In terms of unify, we have the word unify.
That's right, which I didn't like, but all right, now I found a word for it.
Okay.
Okay.
it's her word.
It's interesting, Unify also has some other old conjures up some other old definitions from the Marty Schultz days and
Yeah.
the efforts to,
Great words.
As does integration.
as does integration, even though they're good words, they just got used a different way. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yes, we do.
So one of the reasons I wanted to end with some discussion about how to communicate this is, in part, we do want to involve the community. So, and we have on this handout here, we've had these dotted boxes. Somewhere we need to put the community into here, and somewhere we're going to get some more information from the Leadership Council. So, what I think is going to happen is Sharon and I are going to put together another draft, 2 of these values, vision, and mission. We'll circulate it via Sue or Hilda and get it to everybody so that we can say, yep, that's where we're going. So then the question is, what do we do with that? Who are those audiences who need to get it? Do we need to see it? In what form do they need to see it? Those kinds of things. Any thoughts you have about those things as we include the community, as we include folks not only in the Leadership Council, but potentially other school staff members? Or is it is it premature for this and we need to wait till we develop some goals and get it along further?
I mean, I would love to reinvest the participants from the town hall so they see like, hey, like not only did you get critical feedback, but this is what we've done with it, and ask for their input. I know for sure a number of the parents told me like, wow, this was great. I can't believe I was invited, and that you actually cared enough that we can do this. I'm like, no, that's what Creighton does. That's what we're going to do. So I just think it's an important way to close that loop, or at least.
And is that what it would be doing? Is it closing the loop, or is it like, or are we asking for their input one more time?
I refer to it as spiraling. I don't know if that's where you guys would go with it, because I don't know that the spiral ever stops, because I do consider this an organic process. And I consider a strategic planning process, not just a plan. Because sometimes once the final document's written, we all kind of let our shoulders down and put it on the shelf and sort of put some stuff on our calendar. And we do some stuff well, but if you're not spiraling, constantly spiraling, it loses its, because even in the 2 years, 18 months, 1 year, the things we added to the strengths and weaknesses list and our revisiting were richly, newly more accurate. So I would use the phrase spiraling. I don't know how, because I would use closing and I wouldn't use completing. But I would say spiral. For me, I'd say spiraling.
We would agree with that.
And remember, this is what I'm hoping to gather is some information to go to the steering committee. We're not going to like have a town hall between now and March 2nd.
Okay.
So in that our second meeting, part of what we'll do is to take your
Gotcha.
feedback and your information about that with the town hall. So that's certainly one idea.
And between now and our March 2nd meeting, we'll have feedback. Again, we'll take this back out to the leadership council.
Right.
And we'll be receiving the feedback. So they want that we set that as well, so there'll be more opportunity.
So, are the values, vision, and mission an articulated identity for Creighton? That was one of the things before.
Right, that was
So
one of our overall.
That is the identity of Creighton then? You know, like before, that was at the town hall, what is Creighton?
Yeah.
And it was big, you know, we didn't have per se a
Shared idea.
yeah.
I think that is, in my opinion, a way to have a carefully articulated identity for Creighton. I think the emphasis on the third one is bringing people together, and we may want to reconsider whether we develop that into some sort of alignment around that shared vision and identity. Want to think about it that way.
Yeah, I'm so glad you brought that up. And this does feel like an identity. We're a globally connected community of compassionate leaders, collaborative innovators, and adventurous makers. That is an identity right there, to me. To turn it into action is
A big job.
multiple year big job.
It's a big job, but thinking as a parent, that tells me a lot.
Yeah. I mean, we had heard a lot of different ideas, and I think like, oh, all of these things are true, but it's not like a shared, unique thing. And I think like Eric's point about the opportunities to have these conversations build a shared language. So that I think like this is a synthesis of things we've heard. This is the next iteration. The more conversations we have, the more like we start to talk the same language, have a shared understanding of the words that we're using and why. I think it's just, I think we're on the right track. I don't have necessarily anything to add.
Anything else? I think we're good.
Is it okay to
Are
leave?
you
early?
feeling okay? Yeah, I think we're almost afraid to separate Amy.
I can't go home because everything has to be done before she gets there.
I do that I do think that this is one of the most productive board study sessions that I've ever, and not only productive, but really meaningful. And again, like I said before, not only do I hope it provides our community a clear understanding of who we are, but it's definitely provided me with a better understanding of not only who we are, but who we want to be. And I'm excited to try to figure out how to get there. Yeah. It's awesome.
You've done really good work.
Really hard.
Thank you
You're the
so
one
much.
to
Amy, do you want to reflect on the day or?
Sure, well, I just wanted to comment on.
Is this your best birthday ever?
The day's not over yet. Great start.
I just wanted to just explain kind of why I had Hilda and Dr. Lewis include these articles about integration. And the podcast, it's a 2-hour thing, but it's really fascinating. One part of it is very negative. The other part is more optimistic. And it's hard not to believe that this idea of integrating more affluent families into our district would help. I mean, Fillmore Prep is an example of that happening. When my son was in kindergarten, I think, we were 2, 3 of the white families in his class, and it changed when that Spanish immersion, I mean, people that you never saw at our school in outfit, it was just like, everyone was like, oh my gosh, where are these people coming from? And it was a little bit of a struggle, it still is, I think, but I think it's gotten, and I'm not there anymore, but I think it's changed so dramatically, and really brought everything up for the kids at that school. It was fascinating to watch. So I think there really is something to this, and I would love everybody to read a little bit more about it. I just included some articles, and there's just a most recent one, February 10th. Obama's budget includes a new $120 million grant to support school integration. So he's recognizing, and the podcast talk about how they are so disappointed that this administration hadn't recognized integration, but a year later they are. So I think there's something to it. So, but I think this is all. I'm glad we had that conversation about it. So it's not easy, I don't think either.
Well, there was a piece on NPR that I shared with you about bringing that Montessori program. And I don't know if you recall, but at the very end of that piece on NPR, they talked about how the only downside of them bringing this Montessori program, and I'm not suggesting that that's what we need to do, but the only downside was that as, you know, it had another effect was bringing more affluent families. But then because of it, they were starting to push the other kids out. That's, you know, that's a danger, that's something that we have to be really mindful and careful about.
Yeah, and
as well.
because, you know, I wouldn't want to exclude people from
Exactly.
the schools because there's a waiting list. I mean, that happens too. So it is a balance. And I do think that there is urgency again, because this is going to be happening quickly and people are going to start, and that's what happened at Squaw Peak and Biltmore. Once you pick a school for your kid, you're there for 10 years, you know? So if we miss these parents, we miss them. So
Yes.
that's what's fascinating.
Them either preschool or kindergarten.
Yeah,
Because
right.
after that, it's no good.
Yeah, so it's fascinating to hear the story about the lady who's in charge of recruiting parents into her inner city schools, and she has a hard job. And it sounds sometimes impossible, but
Wouldn't it be nice to have a wait list for some of our schools?
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Then we'd have the horrible decision on who goes to that school. And it would, you know, it would be kind of, it would be a horrible decision, but it'd be kind of nice.
That reminds me of the goals, right? There should be a goal on enrollment. I think that's an important indicator of success.
But if
Especially
you,
because we have capacity to do more, right? Current capacity.
We have, yes, we don't have art programs, no, I'm kidding. So more like 2,400 if we keep the art in the classroom.
I'll take them. We'll keep the art and I'll keep 2,400.
Check the 2,400.
I'd rather make enrollment somewhat ambiguous, like having a neighborhood school attracting children from the district rather than increasing enrollment. If, you know, like it's going to be, if we get dinks in the community, we're not going to have enrollment increasing. If we get people who have children, we might.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, I wouldn't just put a blanket number. I would ask for careful analysis. I would prioritize the numbers being Creighton families first and foremost. I have ideas what this is, but I would want Donna to bring some ideas our way.
So the only thing we need is should this be something we bring up
Categories.
in the steering committee? And the answer, I guess I've heard is, let's bring it up.
But
I mean,
But if
that's
you-
how we would know for success. Parents are choosing our schools. I mean, right now, Phoenix Union has a historic enrollment,
Since like
right?
92 or something.
We're
high
still,
since 1982.
we've lost 2,000 kids in 8 years. We serve the same student body. So there's just something to explore. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know what the timeline is or how aggressive it is. But when parents choose a school, like they don't necessarily care. People I talk to, they don't care what the label is from the state, right? We want to know that our kids are safe and they're loved and they have all these things that we talked about. So how will we know if we're successful? Parents choose our schools. I don't know what numbers and what that looks like. I think it's something worth exploring.
then you're talking about a result rather than doing it. It's like Amy said, if you have an inner city school, we're semi-inner city, and it's like Field of Dreams. Build it, you build it well, and they will come. And then the resultant is higher enrollment.
Yeah.
But it's not a goal. The goal is to build it well.
And that's what
I'm just saying it's an indicator. That's all.
And we'll get into,
Then
we'll be back to,
you know, it's an indicator.
we will be back to you as the steering committee does its work around
Okay.
these strategies and goals. You know, this will all be.
We'll be
coming
back to you on
to
March 22nd.
I was going to say March 22nd.
Yeah, so,
after
Cool.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, right, we'll know more about 1, 2, 3, and we'll also be bringing back conversations about possible buildings, not only building programs, but buildings, possible buildings too. So we'll see where we go in that development as well. All right, I think that she's been holding the gavel.
It's not my birthday, but oh, good. So at 1:17, we'll go ahead and adjourn the study session. Thank you.
2:17.
I'm sorry, 2:17.
You're on Texas time.
Yeah.